Did you watch the last 2 minutes of the Cardano Africa special? I don't think you did, because this guy right here, he broke down exactly how Cardano is going to flip Ethereum. Let's break it down. Get ready. Let's go. No exaggeration. I think John O'Connor, head of IOHK operations in Africa, told us exactly how Cardano is going to flip Ethereum. And we're going to break it down right now. You know, a lot of crypto projects, if they were going to say something like, we're going to onboard 100 million people to our project in the next 2 years, that would have been the first 5 seconds of their 2.5 hour long live stream. Not Cardano, the masters of subtlety. It happens in the last 2 minutes of the 2.5 hours. So in these last 2 minutes, I think a lot of people miss this, but in these last 2 minutes, John O'Connor tells the audience, hey, we're going to onboard 100 million identities to Cardano within the next 2 years via Atala Prism. So this is a gigantic number, 100 million. I think we need to put this into a context that's comprehensible from a crypto perspective. So here we are at adapools.org, a great metric site for all things Cardano. This table shows us new wallets created on a daily basis. And you'll see here, 29th of April, we did like 39,000 wallets. If you go back to October 10th, 2020, we did like 5,000 wallets. What is the most new wallets we've ever done in Cardano? 71,365. That is the very most wallets, according to adapools.org, that we've ever created in the Cardano ecosystem in a single day. So if we think about what John O'Connor told us at the end of the Cardano Africa special, he's saying 100 million wallets over 2 years. So 2 years is 730 days, if my math is correct. If we divide 100 million by 730 days, we get 136,986 wallets a day. If they achieve this goal of 100 million over 2 years, we're going to average, let me say it again, 136,986 wallets per day. That's roughly equivalent to us doubling our best day ever for 2 years straight. Think about that for a second. If we take our best day ever, I think a lot of people who've been in Cardano for a couple of years, they would look at this graph and think back with a sense of nostalgia on the days when Cardano was a small ecosystem, right? 5,000 new wallets a day, 6,000, 7,000 new wallets a day even. Those are nostalgic times. And then we got to 2021 and we saw an onslaught of new wallets. But the highest day during this onslaught was only half of what we're talking about doing over the next 2 years. That's crazy talk. But we all know we can't just think about Cardano in isolation. We need to think about it in the context of its peers. So let's take a look at etherscan.io and see what the unique daily address growth look like in Ethereum. Let's start back in the ICO days. Let's go back to January 2017. We can see that Ethereum was growing by a daily increase of 3,500, 2,000, 1,900, 1,700 unique addresses per day. And back in those days, they had about 1 million wallets. And then we see it starting to rise. Now we're to June, July 2017, and we're seeing 43,000 wallets. We get up towards January 2018, and we're looking at 355,000 wallets, really steep climb right there. But then we get in this period in between, January 2018 all the way until now. And we're seeing, these numbers, 100,000 wallets per day, 80,000 wallets per day, 70,000 wallets per day, 100,000, 188,000. That's a nice one. 153, 96. Now we're in 2020 and we're seeing these numbers 199, 125. Let's look at a recent number 89,000, 137,000. This is April 17th of 2021, and this is Ethereum. This is Ethereum, which has a gigantic market cap compared to Cardano. And yet the daily increase number, very similar to what IOHK and Cardano are projecting for the next 2 years, just in terms of Africa growth. We've already established that John O'Connor is basically quoting a number that amounts to 136,986 new identities onboarded to the platform per day. That's very similar to this number being quoted for Ethereum just for April 17th, 2021, very recent date. So the great thing is, this is total addresses being created in Ethereum, 137,000 per day. IOHK and Cardano are going to do 136,000 new people onboarded to our ecosystem just in Africa, just per day. That doesn't count the natural kind of growth that we're already seeing just in terms of new Cardano unique addresses created per day. We've already said that was something on the order of 71,000. So if we've got that natural crypto growth that we've had all along in Cardano, maybe who knows what that number will be in the future, obviously always in fluctuation. But if we have the same kind of natural wallet growth that we've always had in Cardano, plus these Africa numbers, we might be looking at numbers that far exceed what Ethereum is doing right now. Okay. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking to yourself, yeah, but digital identity, just because someone is given digital identity through a tall prism, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to use the Cardano blockchain beyond just the issuance of their digital identity. And you've got a good point there. But that's where the next part of John's little presentation here at the end of the Cardano Africa special comes in. He goes on to say that while Cardano has partnered with World Mobile and they're going to onboard 100,000 subscribers just in Zanzibar, just in one metro area, they're going to onboard 100,000 subscribers this year. All of those subscribers are also going to be issued digital identity through Atala Prism. So think about that for a second. They're all going to have digital identity through Atala Prism. Does anybody not think the natural outgrowth of that is going to be them paying their telecom bill using their digital identity, using digital currency? How hard is it? And let's think back to a couple of weeks ago. We talked about how there were some mysterious kind of unmentioned partners on the Cardano Africa page before the Cardano Africa special. And they didn't really pop up too much in the Cardano Africa special, right? We had Yellow Card and Payway Ethiopia, both of which sound a whole lot like fiat on-ramps that are kind of operating throughout sub-Saharan Africa already, right? Does anybody really think that this doesn't all lead to people paying their telecom bills every single month in Cardano? John also goes on to say that in Q1 next year, they're going to start offering what he calls RealFi loans. And this was all in the context of the World Mobile Tanzania conversation. So we know there's the perfect setup for 100,000 people in a large metro area to be paying their telecom bills in Cardano. And they're also going to start offering loans, it sounds like, to these same people. What does Africa need more than access to capital? Right? John says that these are going to be loans offered via Cardano liquidity. And he also mentioned a bridge to real world value. So if you pay attention to macroeconomics at all, you could understand that there's a decent argument that in macroeconomics, demographics are king, right? Demographics and demographic growth are king. And Africa, with its young, booming population, extremely young population, is perfectly primed in this demographic, macroeconomic sense to grow in the same way that China grew over the last several decades. And that's to say, explosively. And when economies grow explosively, the thing they need more than anything is access to capital. And in these last 2 minutes of the Cardano Africa special, John O'Connor told us, hey, we're going to onboard 100 million people. And a little microcosm of that is what we're doing in Tanzania, which is going to result in 100,000 people being onboarded as telecom subscribers. And they're also going to have digital identity. It's really easy to believe that the plan here is for them to be paying their telecom bills in digital currency. And we already know how the fiat on-ramp that is going to work and all that with Yellow Card and Payway. And we already know that the entire continent, demographically, macroeconomically, is going to need access to liquidity. And that the number of wallets this is going to produce is going to be on an order that rivals and probably exceeds the number of new wallets created every single day in Ethereum. This is exactly how Cardano overtakes Ethereum. Does anybody think the Ethereum Foundation is going to come up with a similar plan? They're going to find another population of 100 million people who want to. None of that is the case. Ethereum's going to keep doing what they've always done, and that's, focus on these little, comparatively, now we can say comparatively little DeFi projects. They're going to be all tied up in the ETH 2.0 thing. They're going to be doing all of that. Meanwhile, Cardano has too big a head start. There's no other population of 100 million people that can be addressed in this way. That population doesn't really exist. And if it does, it's going to take Ethereum the same amount of time that it's taking Cardano to get this deep, this entrenched, this much of a head start. There's no way Ethereum can catch up now. There's no way they can catch up. Cardano did too much. They did too much legwork over the last couple of years while Ethereum was doing DeFi. They were worried about swapping tokens and making flash loans and all that stuff, which has been amusing over the last couple of years. But what's not going to be amusing for them is watching Cardano onboard 100 million people who are using Cardano in the real world to pay bills and take real world loans. This is how Cardano is going to flip Ethereum. I hope everybody's excited. Comment down below. Comment down below if this is exciting, or if you think this is ridiculous and it could never happen. Let me know. What do you think the possibilities are that this is going to happen? Because I think this is what's going to happen. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow.